Not the city.
It's not city property, it's a private landowner has a dispute with the school district.
Not the city. Our engineers have signed off on it.
With the conditions,
Our city attorney has signed off on it.
with the condition that any approval be subject to easements and restrictions of record.
And that language is fine with the school district. Because we've always stated that that easement was a legitimate easement.
It's legitimate.
It's there.
Recorded, yes.
It's a public document, it's there for everyone to read.
John, how do you then respond to this list of, if nothing can be constructed on the easement, just help me understand this. And if this list is anywhere near accurate, how does that square with the language?
I haven't seen the list, Vern, so I don't know, but my understanding is that there are no sidewalks, there's no curbs.
There, in the easement, there are elements to that, but I don't know.
Nothing that's going to impinge his right to egress or regress his property. In fact, he's gaining from it because he's going to get a paved portion of the easement along with a gravel portion of the easement. Right now it's grass and dirt. So he actually comes out on the winning end of the whole deal because he has the right to access his property, which he's always had from day one. We're not impinging on his right to access his property.
And again, Vern, that goes back to if the Pelicheks believe that that is an infringement of their easement, they have a recourse that doesn't involve the city. It's not a city issue.
Just, yeah, my gut tells me that I don't want to get the city in the middle of something.
And you're not.
We're
Okay?
not.
But
That's what our attorney's trying to do too.
But at the same time, if we approve something that, if we didn't know this information, no problem. But we know it.
You've known, the Pelicheks have been coming to your meetings for how many months telling you this, and everything has gone forward and been approved up to this point. And so I don't understand the big, all of a sudden, you get a letter, 10 minutes before your meeting that throws everything up in the air. It doesn't make any sense to me, but.
And how many times is that gonna happen? Are we gonna wait for the next meeting and then 5 minutes before the meeting we feel this, no, we can't do it. Then the next meeting we feel this, no, we can't do it.
Vern, I've been very concerned about access to their property. But also, we're in the middle because we could face legal action from the school if we hold their process up. And so, those are the discussions we've been having with the attorneys is, if we say, okay, it's good the way it is, and some of these things are found to be an issue, what's our liability? And both of our attorneys have said the same thing, which is, there isn't any, in their opinion. Now, of course, a judge could figure out what a judge can figure out. Really, the point is the access in your minds, is you still have access to their property. That's the definition of a taking, is you've taken away access to their property. You've diminished the value of their property. We have gravel road going up there. We have most of the way. We've extended an 8-inch water main closer to their property. I think we've done some things to try to help push that along and to add some value to their property. And we can argue whether signposts or street lights, that those are structures in the easement. And I think most engineers would say they're not, they're movable. It's not like the building. When we first saw the drawing, the building was in the easement, and we said, can't do that. They had a retaining wall on the east side. We said, you can't put that in there. They've removed that. So I think we've adjusted the plan as we've gone to ensure that easement is as open as possible. And we've done that really outside of what our interest really ought to be. But we've done it because we felt that we wanted to have an eye on Pelichek's property too, and try to balance these two things.
that's what I'm concerned about. That's what
Yes.
you know, you and I have had this discussion privately, and I've asked you to do some research on these topics, and I really appreciate that. So I do feel, as I stated 3 weeks ago, that it, you know, at the prior meeting, that I felt that things were essentially, you know, we'd addressed all of the concerns. So, you know, it surprised me then that we still haven't. And that's what's concerning to me now, is that, you know, and I trust the school would be willing to facilitate, within the scope of their project, you know, completing their project. That's your desire, you know. But at the same time, you know, I'm trusting that you're not trying to cause harm to any other citizen that's in the city, because that land is important to the city and to our comprehensive plan, to our strategic growth within the city. So, you know, I'm sure that the school is interested in that growth too, because that fuels students and taxpayers into the school district. So that's my only concern.
Have we gotten any okay from the state yet on the plan being approved?
That's a building plan,
That's a building.
that's a separate
That's
issue.
the building review, that's not back yet from the
But
state.
the answer is no, not yet.
I'm personally comfortable approving the site plan.
Well, I move that we do accept this plan review.
The only thing I would ask is with the conditions as outlined,
Yes,
both by the engineer and the city attorney.
yes.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Dahl, second by Mr. Hansi. Any questions or comments?
So the language is approved subject to easements and restrictions of record.
Correct. And we do have the school on record talking about perpetual access under the terms of the easement, something to that effect, correct? So the school's given the assurance that they're going to ensure that access will remain there.
I personally don't feel secure with this. That seems like it could blow up a big lawsuit. And then where are we? What do we say?
You're an observer. I don't see where it would affect the city at all.
This is something that should be decided between two private landowners.
Exactly.
And not the city council.
And I think when you look at what's being cited here, if you're reasonably sure that there's access to the property is going to gain value by the school being there. There's the proximity of the school to those housing lots that could be developed. The fact that there's water closer, the fact that there's sewer in the area that could be brought in, you could have a much higher density buildings up in that area. That property will only gain value. Again, it's conjecture, but I can't for the life of me think that property would lose value by having a school there and by having utilities closer.